Have you ever wondered what it takes to become a true hero of faith? What if I told you that hidden within the pages of the Bible, there's a warrior so fierce and courageous that even lions trembled at the mention of his name? This is no tall tale. It's the story of BENAIAH, one of David's mighty men, and the secret behind his incredible strength. You may have heard of David and Goliath, but BENAIAH is the unsung hero whose feats will leave you breathless. Imagine facing a lion in a pit on a snowy day, or challenging a giant Egyptian with nothing but a staff. Sounds impossible, doesn't it? Well, BENAIAH did just that and much more. But the most remarkable thing is that his true strength didn't come from muscles or combat skills. There was something deeper, a secret most people miss when reading his story, a secret that turned an ordinary man into one of the most feared warriors in biblical history. In the next few minutes, we're going to unravel this mystery together. We'll explore BENAIAH's jaw-dropping feats, his unwavering loyalty, and most importantly, the hidden source of his courage, which can apply to your own life today. Are you ready to discover the secret that made BENAIAH unstoppable? Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll see your own challenges in a new light. Now, let's talk about what made BENAIAH stand out among David's mighty men. He wasn't just another soldier, he was a force of nature. The Bible doesn't waste words, so when it dedicates space to describe someone's deeds, you know that person is worth paying attention to. First, BENAIAH was the son of Jehoiada, a valiant fighter from Kabzeel, but he didn't rely on his father's reputation. No, BENAIAH built his own legend. In 2 Samuel 23 verse 20, we read that he defeated 2 of Moab's best warriors. Think about that. Not just one, but 2 elite fighters. This wasn't luck. It was skill, courage, and something more. And he was just getting started. The Bible tells us that he also went down into a pit on a snowy day and killed a lion. Now imagine the scene. A lion in a pit on a snowy day. Most of us would struggle just to keep our footing in those conditions, but BENAIAH saw the challenge and didn't back down. If you think that's impressive, wait until you hear BENAIAH's next feat. He faced an Egyptian giant, a warrior described as a man of great stature, armed with a spear the size of a weaver's beam. And BENAIAH? He only had a staff. This is what we call bringing a stick to a spear fight. Yet somehow, he managed to disarm the giant and kill him with his own spear. These feats aren't just impressive, they're nearly superhuman. But BENAIAH wasn't a superhuman. He was a man like any of us. So, what gave him the ability to do such incredible things? What was the secret behind his courage and strength? As we continue to explore BENAIAH's story, keep these achievements in mind. They aren't just tales of bravery. They're clues to understanding what made BENAIAH one of the most formidable warriors in biblical history. Now imagine this scenario. It's a cold, snowy day, the kind of day when you'd rather be indoors, wrapped in a warm blanket. But BENAIAH, on this treacherous day, finds himself face to face with one of nature's fiercest predators, a lion. Let's pause for a moment to consider what's happening. Lions are apex predators, strong, fast, and incredibly dangerous. Even in perfect conditions, facing a lion is a death sentence for most people. But BENAIAH not only faced this lion on level ground, but in a pit, where there was no room for error. This impressive scene speaks volumes about BENAIAH's character. His courage, yes, but also his quick thinking, his ability to stay calm under pressure, and his willingness to face overwhelming odds. There's also a spiritual lesson here. In 1 Peter 5 verse 8, we are warned that our adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. BENAIAH's encounter with the lion serves as a powerful metaphor for our spiritual battles. But the big question remains, what gave BENAIAH the courage to face that lion? What was the source of his strength and fearlessness? As we continue to unravel BENAIAH's story, keep this incredible feat in mind. It's not just about physical prowess. It's a clue to understanding what truly made BENAIAH extraordinary. If facing a lion in a pit was impressive, wait until you hear about BENAIAH's encounter with the Egyptian giant. This is like David and Goliath 2.0, but with a jaw-dropping twist. BENAIAH finds himself facing an Egyptian warrior of enormous stature, armed with a spear that was as thick as a weaver's beam. And what did BENAIAH have? Just a staff. Most of us would look at this situation and think, no way, this is impossible. But BENAIAH saw these impossible odds and didn't back down. He didn't just dodge the spear or try to defend himself. He went straight for the giant's weapon. With a skill and bravery that's hard to imagine, he managed to take the spear from the Egyptian and, in an unexpected turn, used the enemy's own weapon to defeat him. This encounter isn't just about physical strength or combat skills. It's about faith, courage, and the ability to see beyond what seems possible. BENAIAH didn't just overcome a physical giant that day. He conquered the giant of fear and impossibility. There's a powerful lesson here for all of us. How often do we face our own giants? Problems that seem insurmountable, challenges that feel too big to handle. BENAIAH's story reminds us that with the right mindset and the right source of strength, even the biggest giants can fall. What made BENAIAH so loyal to David, remaining steadfast even during times of turmoil? The answer to this question is another key piece of the puzzle explaining what made BENAIAH truly extraordinary. BENAIAH's loyalty to David was not just a matter of following orders. It was a deep, unwavering commitment. even in the face of personal risk and political conflicts. David's reign was not always smooth. There were power struggles, rebellions, and times when David's own life was in danger. But throughout it all, BENAIAH remained firm as one of David's most trusted men. A clear example of this loyalty occurs in 1 Kings 1. At the end of his life, David was sick and bedridden, and his son Adonijah attempted to usurp the throne. This was not just family drama. It was a full-blown coup, and many, including some of David's closest advisors, sided with Adonijah. However, BENAIAH did not hesitate. When David declared that Solomon would be the next king, BENAIAH supported this decision without delay, even knowing that it could put him at odds with powerful figures and put his own life at risk. In 1 Kings 1 verses 36 to 37, we see BENAIAH's response to David's decree. Amen. May the Lord, the God of my lord the king, so declare it. As the Lord was with my lord the king, so may he be with Solomon to make his throne even greater than the throne of my lord King David. These words were not just lip service. BENAIAH backed up his commitment with action. He played a key role in ensuring Solomon's ascension to the throne, protecting him from those who tried to derail God's plan for the kingdom. BENAIAH's loyalty went beyond politics. He was also one of the mighty men who stood by David during some of his darkest moments, like when David was fleeing from his son Absalom and hiding in the wilderness. This kind of loyalty, steadfast, willing to face any danger, is rare and speaks of a deeply rooted conviction of faith in something greater than himself. For BENAIAH, his loyalty to David was not just about obedience to a human king. It was an expression of his faith and commitment to God's purpose. He saw the divine anointing on David's life and chose to support God's plan for Israel, even when the price was high. There is a powerful lesson here for us. In a world where loyalty often seems rare, BENAIAH's life challenges us to stand firm in our commitments, especially when it comes to following God's plan. But the question remains, what gave BENAIAH this unshakable loyalty? What was the source of his strength to stand firm when others wavered? As we continue to unravel the secret behind BENAIAH's extraordinary life, remember this aspect of his character, as it is yet another crucial piece of the puzzle. Now that we have journeyed through BENAIAH's incredible feats and his unwavering loyalty, it is time to reveal the true source of his strength and courage. The secret behind all of BENAIAH's bravery was his unshakable faith in God. BENAIAH wasn't just a skilled warrior or a loyal servant. He was a man who understood that his strength came from something, or rather, someone far greater than himself. This faith wasn't just a vague idea, but a deep conviction that shaped every aspect of his life. In 2 Samuel 23 verse 20, we learn that BENAIAH was the son of Jehoiada, a valiant man from Kabzeel. Interestingly, Kabzeel means God gathers, and from the very beginning, BENAIAH's life was intertwined with God's presence and purpose. Moreover, the very name BENAIAH means the Lord has built or the Lord has established. Each time he heard his own name, BENAIAH was reminded of God's power and faithfulness. We can imagine how this must have shaped his confidence. When he faced the lion in the pit, he didn't rely on his own strength. He trusted in the God who had created that lion. When he confronted the Egyptian giant with only a staff, he wasn't being reckless but was demonstrating a profound faith, as in Psalm 18 verse 29. With your help, I can advance against a troop. With my God, I can scale a wall. BENAIAH's loyalty to David also reflected his faith in God, as he didn't see David merely as a human king, but as the Lord's anointed. The amazing thing is that this same source of strength is available to us today. We may not face literal lions and giants, but we all have our own battles and challenges that can seem just as intimidating. BENAIAH's story reminds us that true courage doesn't come from our own abilities or resources, but from a deep, abiding trust in God. In Ephesians 6 verse 10, we read, "Finally, be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power." This was BENAIAH's secret, and it can be ours too. When we root our identity in God and trust in his strength rather than our own, we can face any challenge with courage and confidence. BENAIAH's life is a powerful reminder that with God, nothing is impossible. His secret has now been revealed, and it's a secret that can transform our lives too. BENAIAH's story is not just a tale of ancient heroism. It's a treasure trove of practical wisdom we can apply to our daily lives. So, what can we learn from this great warrior of faith? First and foremost, BENAIAH teaches us the power of courage rooted in faith. He didn't rush into danger recklessly. His bravery was grounded in a deep trust in God. This reminds us that true courage isn't the absence of fear, but the willingness to act despite it, knowing that God is with us. Furthermore, Benaiah's life highlights the importance of seizing opportunities. When faced with seemingly impossible situations, such as the lion in the pit or the Egyptian giant, Benaiah saw these experiences as chances to demonstrate God's power. How often do we miss great opportunities because we're too afraid to take the first step? Lastly, Benaiah teaches us about the importance of an identity rooted in God. His very name served as a constant reminder of the Lord's faithfulness. He encourages us to base our identity on what God says about us, not on the circumstances around us. These lessons are not just ancient wisdom. They are practical truths for today. Whether we're facing our own lions and giants or challenges that seem insurmountable, Benaiah's example inspires us to step out in faith, trusting in the God who can make the impossible possible. As we come to the end of this journey through Benaiah's extraordinary life, it's time to reflect. How can we apply Benaiah's secret in our own lives today?